Today we're going to read one shloka from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 3rd canto, 22nd chapter, where we are going to learn about the life of Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu. Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu was the king, and he had all the facilities possible for one to enjoy, but still Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu, how he lived his life in service of Krishna, we can learn from this shloka. So the shloka we will begin. Before that, we will recite Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatim Uttama Shloke Bhaktirabhavati Naishtaki. Rudraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 3rd canto, 22nd chapter, titled as The Marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahūti. So Kardama Muni got married to Devahūti, who is daughter of Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu. After completing the marriage of his daughter, Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu returned to his own palace in a place which is called as Barhishmati. Now Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu, when he returned back to his own kingdom, all the citizens welcomed him. And his palace was just like a Vaikuntha, where always there was chanting of Lord Krishna's name. Wherever there is chanting of Krishna's name, that place becomes Vaikuntha. All the miseries disappears from this place. The material world is called Kuntha, and the place where we have Krishna's name, it becomes Vaikuntha. So Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu came back to his palace. This palace was full of Krishna consciousness, and in the previous shloka it was mentioned that Tashyam Pravishto Bhavanam Tapatraya Vinashanam. So as soon as you enter the palace of Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu, Tashyam Pravishta, you enter Bhavanam, palace of Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu, Tapatraya Vinashanam. All the three tapas means miseries, Adi Daivi, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, they disappeared because there was constant chanting of the Krishna's name. Now, Swayambhuva Manu's Maharaj's lifestyle is described in this shloka. So here, the shloka reads as Sabharya Saprajaha Kaman Bhubuje Anya Virodhata Sangiyaman Sata Kirti Shastri Bhi Suragayake Pratyusheva Anubadhena Radha Shravanam Hare Katha Radha Shravanam Hare Katha Radha Shravanam Hare Katha. So Hare Katha, chanting of Krishna's name. Here says Sabharya Saha Praja Kaman. Sabharya. Bharya means wife. Praja means children. So Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu, along with his wife and children, fulfilled his desire without being disturbed by unwanted principles, contrary to the process of religion. Celestial musicians and their wives sang in chorus about the pure reputation of emperor, and early in the morning every day he used to listen to pastimes of Krishna. You see that? So Maharaj Swayambhuva Manu lived his life with his wife and children, but his whole mission, whole purpose of all was to spend time for Krishna. Maharaj was every day morning, what did he used to do? listen to the pastimes of Krishna with a loving heart. So this is the routine of a great emperor. Normally people, they sleep in the morning. Maharaj Swayambhu Manu got up every day early in the morning and spent his time in listening to pastimes of Krishna. Purport Srila Prabhupada explains, human society is actually meant for realization of perfection in Krishna consciousness. So our purpose of life is to achieve the perfection. And what is that perfection? To realize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no restriction against living with wife and children, but whole purpose of life should be so conducted that one may not go against the principle of religion, economic development, regulated sense enjoyment, ultimately liberation from material existence. So it is dharma, artha, kama, and ultimately is the moksha. We have to get to that path. The Vedic principles are designed in such a way that conditioned souls who have come to this material existence may be guided in fulfilling their material desires, and at the same time liberated and go back to home, back to Godhead. There is a varnashrama system according to Vedic culture. Varna and ashram, four varnas: brahmachari, grihastha, four ashrama: brahmachari ashram, grihastha ashram, vanaprastha, and sannyas ashram. So slowly you are allowed to have wife and children, but ultimately we have to get detached from everything and plan to go back to home, back to Godhead. It understood that Emperor Swayambhu Manu enjoyed his household life by following these principles. It is stated here that early in the morning, there were musicians who used to sing with musical instruments about the glories of the Lord. Every day morning, Aarti, we have musical instruments and we sing the glory of the Lord. And the emperor with his wife personally used to hear about the pastimes of Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the morning program. We get up, do Aarti, Kirtan, and listen to the pastimes of Krishna. This custom is still prevalent in India in some royal families and temples. Professional musicians sing with sahanais, and sleeping members of the house gradually wake up from their beds in a pleasing atmosphere. During the bedtime also, the singers sing songs in relation with pastimes of the Lord with Shahnai accompaniment, and the householders gradually fall asleep remembering the glories of Lord. In every house, in addition to singing program, there is an arrangement for Bhagavatam lectures in the evening. And family members sit down, hold Hare Krishna Kirtan, hear narrations from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and enjoy the music before going to the bed. This is a Krishna consciousness. So in a family, there has to be a program. What is the program? Morning, do some Aarti, Kirtan, Harikatha. Evening, Aarti, Kirtan, and Harikatha. The atmosphere created by such Sankirtan movement lives in their hearts, and while sleeping, they also dream of singing and glorification of Lord. In such a way, perfection of Krishna consciousness can be achieved. This is the way to achieve the perfection of life. Morning, begin with Krishna Katha. Evening, end with Krishna Katha. If we do this every day, in and out, in and out, in and out, every day without mistake, then this is the perfection of human life. Otherwise, it is as good as living like animals. The difference between animals and humans is that humans can do Krishna Katha. Animals do not have that privilege. So it is very important that we understand that perfection of human life can be only achieved if we live like humans. And to live like human is to recognize the purpose of life is to remember Krishna every second of life. Satatam kirtayantam mam yatantascha dhadavrata. This practice is very old, as learned from this verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam millions of years ago. Swayambhu Manu used to avail himself the opportunity to live a householder life in a peace and prosperity of Krishna consciousness. So this is the Vedic culture. Vedic culture is which coming from the first human being, which is Maharaj Swayambhu Manu. So yata yata charati shrestha. Whatever the senior members do, the juniors will follow. So Maharaj Swayambhu Manu set forth a trend for all of us to follow, how we should live our life. It might be brahmachari ashram, it might be gruhastha ashram, it might be vanaprastha, or it might be sannyas ashram. It does not matter. Maharaj Swayambhu Manu sets an example. Early morning for Krishna, afternoon you go to work, evening you have some time for family, and along with that you have Krishna Katha. As far as the temples are concerned, in each and every royal palace or rich man's house, inevitably there is a nice temple. And the members of household rise early in the morning and go to the temple for Mangalarti. So every royal palace, there used to be opulent temples. Actually, that was a tradition that all the royal people used to build the temples. If you go to South India also, there are many big temples built by the kings actually. And it is not that they just built, they used to go there personally every day in the morning for the Mangala Arati. The Mangala Arati is the first worship of the morning. In the Arati ceremony, a light is offered in circles before the deities, as are the conch shell, flowers, and fan. The Lord is supposed to rise early in the morning and take some light refreshment and give audience to the devotees. So in the morning we wake up Krishna, then offer some sweets to Krishna, then do Arati ceremony of the Krishna, and then take a darshan of Krishna. The devotees then go back to the house or sing the glories of Lord in the temple. The early morning ceremonies still take place in the Indian temples and palaces. Temples are meant for assembly of the general public. The temples within the palace are especially meant for the royal families. But in many of these palace temples, the public is also allowed to visit. The temple of the king of Jaipur is situated within the palace, but the public is allowed to assemble, you see. So the kings used to build the temples within their palace, and the public were allowed to come into the temple, like in Jaipur. They have a Govinda Dev temple there, and it is allowed people are allowed to go there. If one goes there, he will see that the temple is always crowded with at least 500 devotees. After the Mangal Arati ceremony, they sit down together, sing the glories of Lord with musical instrument, and enjoy the life. This is the enjoyment of spiritual life, spiritual enjoyment. There's a material enjoyment and a spiritual enjoyment. There is to be a program in the house for Krishna Katha. The temple worship by the royal family is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, where it is stated, those who fail to achieve success in Bhakti Yoga principles within one life are given a chance to take birth in the next life in the family of a rich man or royal family or the family of learned Brahmanas and devotees. If one gets the opportunity to take birth in this family, he can achieve the facility of Krishna consciousness atmosphere without difficulty. A child born in that Krishna atmosphere is sure to develop Krishna consciousness. The perfection which he failed to attain in his last life is again offered in this life, and he can make himself perfect without fail. So here, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that we have been given this opportunity again. We have got a good family, good birth, good education, good health. Why Krishna has given all this? Because we complete our purpose of life. And what is the purpose? To remember Krishna. So that can be done in a very systematic way. Getting early in the morning, doing arti, puja, kirtan, japa, chanting Krishna's name, hearing Krishna Katha, and living with the family in a Krishna conscious atmosphere. That is the purpose of whole human life. Otherwise, everybody is living. Animals are also living. What is the difference between animals? And animals also sleep until late. If we do that, we are as good as animals. So, if you really want to achieve the perfection, then we have to follow the footsteps of Mahajana, Acharyas. Swayambhu Manu is the first Mahajana, first devotee, first human being which was created by Lord Brahma, and he had all the facilities. If he decided, he could have just enjoyed all his life, but he didn't do that. He spent all his life for Krishna. We can see that there are many great kings like Maharaj Yudhishthir. He spent his life for Krishna's service. Maharaj Parikshit, Maharaj Indradyumna, the great emperor, he spent his life for service of Krishna. So there are many, many such examples which we can learn from, that whole life is for service of Krishna. And that is the way we can achieve the perfection of human life. So with that, we'll pause and we'll continue tomorrow. Grantaraj, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhu